Welcome back. Now we'll be preparing another version of the model which is called Power Query Pivot Table. This is the same version of model. We are not doing any new calculation in this model. We'll be using the same prepayment sheets as we have worked out in our simple model. But here we'll be preparing a more dynamic version of prepayment summary with closing balances. If you remember in our earlier example, our first model, simple model, we prepared prepayment summary with the help of formulas, which is VLOOKUP, name ranges, indirect function, and match. And that method is also working fine, but this particular method is more foolproof, error proof, and it is more of a dynamic way of preparing prepayment summary. We'll be using pivot table to prepare the final summary, but before that we'll be using Power Query to generate this kind of unpivoted table. This table is generated based on these individual sheets, as you can see here. So all these sheets are being manipulated and they have been merged with Power Query tools to produce such table. So basically the source of this pivot table is this particular Excel table. Now to give you a brief introduction of Power Query, it's a get and transform tool and it's part of Microsoft new business intelligence tools. It is not readily available in Excel 2010 and Excel 2013 version, but for Excel 2016 it is part of the package. It is available under data tab and under get and transform tool. But since I'm working with Excel 2010, I have to download it as an add-in, as you can see here. So I have linked a detailed article, what is Power Query and what are the different books you can use to master the Power Query. It is one of the best data manipulating tool. Once you know more about Power Query and how it is easy, and especially if you are working with pivot table, Power Query is must for you to learn. Once you are familiar with Power Query, you can do data manipulation, automation of your reports, and also you can get data from website, different servers, from text files and link them as a source and generate this kind of tables. The key here is that Power Query automates this entire process. We'll see that in action while I do this exercise in this particular video. Now if you're not familiar with Power Query, don't bother. This is an optional exercise as I mentioned before. But if you are curious to know what is Power Query and how it works in this particular scenario, it will be a fun exercise. And I'll be going through step by step and try to explain you as much as possible while I work in Power Query. As you know, this is the new summary sheet which I have prepared with pivot tables. Here I have put this slicer so you can slice individual years prepayment balances. So currently we are in January. Our period is January to December. So it is 31st January 2017 till 31st December 2021. So you can slice accordingly. If you select all of them, you'll find complete data like this till 2021 from 31st January 2017. Now if you add any other prepayment sheet, suppose I'll just copy the last sheet which is prepaid subscription to a new sheet. So I'll just go here and create a copy. Now our sheet is prepared, which is called prepaid license. I will just name this. This is important to change the name in A2 and also here. We have to save it. Now I'll show you the Power Query's magic. I will go to this particular pivot table. I'll go to data, refresh, and you can see prepaid business license has come, which is its closing balance. The balance is same as prepaid subscription because we didn't change any figures. We just copied that sheet and renamed it. But the idea here is that you can pull as many sheets you add and you want to pull in your prepayment summary sheet like this. Every time there is a new prepayment sheet you add here, you just have to go here and refresh twice and your pivot table will update it and your summary will be updated. Only caveat is that you have to make sure that the name of the sheet is same here in A2 and also here. So rather you can just link your name like this everywhere. The only problem with this summary sheet is that if you have a different fiscal year other than January to December, this will not work properly. I'll show you why. So suppose currently we are having January as a start month, and if I change it to April and I save the sheet, I go to pivot table summary, I'll refresh and refresh. Now you see it's starting from April 17, which is fine, but it's ending in December. Why? Because pivot table works from Jan to December as a year. So there is no custom format available in pivot table to display your data. So if I go to 18, it will show Jan to December. Rather, it should be showing April 17 to March 2018. And also there is one more year added. If I click on 2022, it will show Jan, Feb and March. It should have been 2021 to 2022. So that is 2021 April to 2022 March. So this is the problem with this particular summary if you have a different year than Jan to December. Now to overcome this, you have to prepare a hybrid table. With the hybrid table and with the help of pivot table, we will be able to keep our custom date and pull the data accordingly. That particular functionality and technique I'll show you when we do this particular exercise in our next video. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to read the entire article and the references for the Power Query. Thank you very much for watching.